Thank you very much for the invitation. And I would like to welcome everybody. And yeah, as you said, things are changing fast. It's time for hoteliers to change as well.
Okay, great. Let's start then.
I'm going to share my screen. Anatoly, please, if you can verify that you're able to see it very quickly. Can you see my screen? Or can somebody write in the chat?
Yes, I can see. I think the rest of the colleagues also. So you can start.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here with Hotel Lab. And at the end of this quick webinar, you're going to be able to know why and how exactly you can stay ahead of your competition by using market demand and forward looking data, and why and how it's important to set successful pricing and promotional pricing strategies. Myself, I work for OTA Insight the last 4.5 years, covering the region of East Med and Balkans. So, particularly resisting a resisting area of technological advance. But now we see that companies already start to understand that if they don't evolve, if they don't go to the next level in terms of tech stack, in terms of using data to take decisions, then very simply they're going to be missing out a very important part of the market. So, in general, things are better for us. I mean, easier in other markets. In general, we work with 60,000 hotels in 185 countries, 8 out of 10 top global brands. And our tools, we can brag about that they have been nominated in Hotel Tech Awards as the best rate shopping and market intelligence solution, best BI software, and the best parity management software. You can find more online, but let's just jump straight in. In order to understand the market out there, we need to understand why and how people are booking and what is the customer journey, as we say. So imagine that you're able to predict, and for the first time ever with Market Insight, you're able to predict. So it's a very new and sophisticated tool that leverages data from flight searches, Google searches. We're going to see some more insights later about Athens and Paris. And there's also Global Market Insight, which you can access for free, and you can update yourself of how recovery is evolving in more than 280 destinations real time around the globe. So predict, price, rate insight is a rate shopper. It will help you refine your policies and your go to market pricing strategies, and then distribute. It's always very common not to put all eggs in one basket. And as much as we're doing that, things are getting more complicated. I know that disparity is a global hot issue with OTAs, MetaSearch, other partners undercutting our rates. So you can't really tackle it 100%, but at some point you need to take action, and Parity Insight helps you in that. And last but not least, analyze, see what your promotional strategies have brought into your productivity. With Revenue Insight, you can, in lightning speed, understand what is your performance. With a few clicks, you can pivot in your PMS, and you can understand very quickly how you're performing. So a lot has changed in the last 2 years. And what does this new normal look like? And we have exactly, as you can see the GIF, we have two options. We have two roads. And the one is change and adapting to now and the future. And the other one is continuing like nothing ever happened. So same old, of course, if you're a revenue manager, if you're a commercial manager, you need to analyze a static competitive set. You need to see internal data points. And of course, to the best of your ability, analyze historical performance, including on the books. But of course, we have the few years now that you can't compare with in pandemic times. It's completely uncomparable. So we thought of, for the first time ever in the hospitality industry, to tap on the pre-booking data in order to be able to forecast, calculate dynamic competitive sets, and then give us the ability to understand what is coming ahead in a rapidly changing market. Market Insight, as said and as promised, collects millions of data points from the dreaming phase of the customer. Imagine yourselves booking your holidays. You're approximately in 50 different websites before you deposit a single euro to that hotel. And so, what you're going to look for, of course, flights. How are you going to get to the destination? Rates, availabilities, hotels, Airbnbs. Of course, uh, we can no longer ignore it. It's part of the ecosystem, and understanding demand and search level for Airbnbs give us an idea of people that they might end up in a hotel at the end of the day. So Google searches, holidays, events, things that lie before the conversion. And bear in mind, if the guest is already converted, then the customer journey is finished. You can't change it. You can't take occupancy from your competitor. You can't change the prices. You already sold your hotel out. So first step, staying ahead of your competition. And here we can see some demand through flight search data. We see that business is booming, and the title for this for today's webinar is "Doing Pricing and Strategies in Times of Uncertainty." There is one thing that is not uncertain: is that people want to travel, and business is booming again. People are traveling and they're coming back with more extended length of stays as well. So it's looking quite good. For today's webinar, I have collected data from Athens, Greece, and Paris, France. Um, so Market Insight is available for around 280 destinations. I can link in the description the link to Global Market Insight, and you can have an idea if your destination is supported. So Market Insight helps with what? Is to understand who's traveling and when should I run my promos and my campaigns. Who is traveling? We see that markets have been closing, opening in a frenzy. Yeah, you couldn't predict. Every week was a different status quo, and it was really, really hard to understand who was willing to travel, was planning to travel. And also, after that whole disruption, these 2 years, there's new markets evolving. There's new markets coming up that we might not have been aware of. And third, anticipate market demand. I mean, I'm in the past as a hotelier. I remember we leveraged searches and volume in our website, but now for the first time ever, we have a tool that consolidates millions of data points that predict demand, future demand. It looks like a little bit like that. Very intuitive, very easy to handle. If you're in one of the supported destinations, just ask for a free trial. A glimpse of who's looking to fly into Athens. We see UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain are the top four markets. And as I said before, look at the length of stay 4 to 7. We see that people are willing to travel with a more extended length of stay. I mean, can you blame them? It's been 2.5 years almost that they couldn't be able to travel properly. Hotels, United States in the first place. We see Greece, so we see the domestic market looking. UK, Israel, again, 4 nights to 7 nights is the most common length of stay. Let's have a look at France and Paris. For flights, we see UK, Italy, Spain, and South Korea being on top. And for hotels, US, France, again, we see the domestic market feeding room nights to the local market. Germany and Italy as well in the top four. So that was step one. Step two, staying ahead of your competition. And that's really, really important. We have all these many different facts and factors that hotels are now leveraging to become more competitive, more attractive for the end guest. Let's say, for example, are you running in your hotel a length of stay 2 discount? Incentivizing your potential guests, make a longer stay, 2 nights or 3 nights, for example, and just give out a special promotion or an extra small discount. We see that in Paris, and we see it that it's around the levels of 15%. In Athens, not so much, because it's the high season is starting, so hoteliers don't really need to do incentivize them, and usually the length of stays are shorter because we also have a lot of hoppers in Athens, people that they will stay 1 2 nights anyways, and then they will move to hop in the Greek islands and continue their journey. Mobile discounts, you do it, I do it. Everybody's running with a mobile phone in their hands. OTAs know that very well, and of course, they have incentivized hotels to enter some mobile discount promotions. People are using them, and we see that usage and bookings via mobile devices is increasing rapidly. So we see that there's a few hotels doing it, both in Athens and Paris. And of course, if you don't do it, I would recommend if you revise that decision. Rate flexibility, cancellation days before arrival. When was the last time that you have analyzed your whole competitive set and see exactly how many days before arrival your competitors are charging a full amount? Or do they have a semi flex in place? These are data that you need a long, long time to aggregate and just harvest. Um, with technologies like Rate Insight, you can do that in lightning speed. You have that all in bullet points. So it is important because different techniques, different offerings bring different competitiveness and different results for the hotel. Um, if you need to do that manually, then good luck. It's going to take you a few days, and then at the end of your research, you have lost a week's time without acting, without actioning. So the idea of OTA Insight and the idea of our tools is to help you action quicker and more than analyzing. And of course, to that extent, working with some top RMS companies like hotellab, which they will take our data and will incorporate it to their systems and analyze them further in order to give you some pricing recommendations and optimization. As key takeaways for today, I would say bring your commercial departments closer together. What we have seen during hard times, a lot of people left the industry. For example, you had a team with an e-commerce manager, revenue manager, you had a sales manager, marketing manager. All of a sudden, three of them left, and then the sales manager need to do revenue, marketing, e-commerce, you name it. As we have seen the teams returning, they now understand stronger than before that they need to work hand in hand. You can't have marketing working separately from revenue management, doing their own thing. The teams need to meet periodically, I mean, twice a week at least, and take decisions together. So, this is really, really important. Understand that demand forecasting has changed significantly due to COVID, and forward looking data is increasingly more important. I don't need to explain that. You've seen booking windows, they have become extremely, extremely short. Without a tool such as Market Insight, you can really understand forecast and how you anticipate future bookings in that level. Take data driven decision. Competition for the customer is fiercer than ever before. Use data and technology to spot revenue opportunities easier and capture demand before your competition. I mean, look no further. Look what the huge OTAs do, Booking, Expedia. Do they use data? Of course they do. Do they take decisions based on data as well? This is why they're successful. And this is why you can be successful as well. Start leveraging the data. And of course, be open to change. The world has changed, travel have changed, booking behavior has changed. and then look yourself in the mirror and ask, have you changed? If you haven't changed, then don't expect different results or getting a piece of the pie and the market that you deserve. Do things differently. Don't be afraid. Ask for partners to give you advices. You can also see our tools in free trials. Just have a free trial, speak to one of our experts, and then, I mean, it's an open market. You can make a logical decision based on your interest. So, if you're ready to learn to turn lookers into bookers, you can scan the QR code below, ask for a free demo, and we will be delighted to help you at OTA Insight. Wishes to everybody best of success. If you have any questions, please type in the chat. I'm going to pick them up later on. And I think it's the right time to give Anatoly the chance to start his presentation. Thank you very much.
Yes, perfect, Vasilios. Thanks a lot. It was really nice to listen to you. And yeah, I totally agree with your points that now, as I believe, is a huge challenge for all of us revenue managers to shift from intuition-based decisions on data-driven based decisions. I think that's the most important what we all should do. Okay, great, Vasilios. Thanks a lot. So yeah, if you have any question to Vasilios, please feel free to type them in the chat. I'm sure he will be online for a bit more and we'll attend to them. And yeah, so now I'm jumping to my presentation. I'm gonna quickly also share my screen. You should see my presentation now. Please, if you don't, you can just write in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna start with my presentation. Okay, perfect. So yeah, as well as Vasilios, me myself, I'm an ex-revenue manager. I was working for quite several hotels, including chain hotels and independent hotels. Also, I have some international background, and last job I was doing, I was working at one of Wyndham properties, and there I was not doing the revenue manager as traditional. I was actually was working as director of sales and marketing, and there I realized that my background within the revenue management actually helped me a lot, not just to make the decision in regard to, let's say, pricing, forecasting, analytics, but actually much further. For example, one of the big things I was doing, I was setting up marketing campaigns and inventory management based on understanding which type of guests we're gonna receive at the particular stay dates, and should we spend this business towards let's say OTA channels, or we can expect some group bookings, or we can focus on direct bookings and so on. So having been in charge of actually everything, sales, marketing, and revenue management, really helped me to perform well. Therefore, when I founded hotellab, the idea was going a little bit further than traditional revenue management solution, and we also added some digital marketing analytics that helped us not only to increase the revenue at hotels, but actually increase their net revenue. So focus not just on traditional revenue side, but after deducting the commissions. I founded the company in 2019. Right now, we already have over 150 plus hotels working with us, and we see that by implementing the full automatization of our RMSs, hotels always increase their revenue at least by 8%. If they work with sort of static or manual pricing before, they even have results of increasing revenue by 15 to 20%. One of our missions, and I think that was covered a bit by Vasilios also, is actually making the revenue manager going further than being the person in charge of pricing, analytic, and forecasting. But we believe that revenue manager is now in charge of strategic decisions around the hotel, because he can really describe where a hotel can focus on which business, on which guest, and so on. So that's one of our goals. Today, I will talk firstly about open pricing, why we think that it is really important for hotels in post-pandemic period to make their pricing as elastic as possible. Then we'll also talk a bit about future demand trends to support revenue and e-commerce decisions, and we'll talk a bit about importance of length of stay in your pricing decisions. So talking about different pricings and how they can shift to open pricing, we always notice the following. Uh, since we have experience of implementing our RMS in over 150 hotels, on this slide you can see the results that we can track in different hotels in regard to their financial results in compared to what type of pricing they're using. So basically, we see if a hotel uses static or some seasonal pricing, they only achieve about 70% of their financial of their financial opportunities. So they leave a lot of potential revenue and further profit on the table. When they start to optimize their pricing based on maybe occupancy or some pricing optimization tools, it does give them some results. However, it's still way beyond what they can achieve by, first of all, hiring the proper revenue manager or implementing the revenue management system. And when the revenue manager with a good experience comes in place, he always gives one of the best results to the hotel in regard to increasing its revenue. However, especially in the current period, since we see that revenue manager, when he does his pricing manually, can't always do it frequently enough, or sometimes can't go too much deeper into analyzing data. So therefore, there is still a bit of pie left for hotels that he can pick up and increase its revenue. Therefore, we believe and we see, according to our results, that the best are actually when hotels are implementing revenue manager system in line with revenue manager, or at least some person who can sort of track some things. But I will talk about this combination as well in a bit while. Uh, and in discussions with a lot of revenue managers, we still see that they prefer to work on a bar level pricing, just because in some cases it's much more convenient to manage it in, let's say, in PMSs or distribution systems. For some of them, it's easier to sort of standardize it in hotels pricing strategies, so the rest of the some segments guests or maybe front office will better understand how the pricing works. But we see that bar level pricing right now is giving a lot of limitations for hotels in order to increase the revenue. The first and the most important thing we believe is that bar levels work on the preset options, right? So working with the bar level, you usually set up certain pricing and carry on working with them. However, in most cases, we see that setting up your particular bar level strategies, let's say your lowest is 80 euros, your highest is 200 euros, and then you go, let's say, with 20 euro step. In most cases, if you set up this level pricing today, just in a week time, the market is going to change so much that all of those steps to 20 euros or minimums or maximums are not going to be relevant anymore. And working with those preset options at the end of the day is going to limit you that much, so you will lose at least 10% of your potential revenue. And the other big disadvantage of bar level pricing is room supplements, that in most cases you set up full room supplement between your rooms, and at the end of the day, if your superior rooms in some periods can drive you way more much better ADR and help increase your revenue, you will still be stick to particular room supplement and will wait till the standard room will rise. And that's also another limitation that bar level pricing brings. And coming to open pricing, in this case, first of all, you can analyze way more data on room level, which will help your rooms to increase more revenue by becoming more elastic, right? So because you can optimize your pricing, or you can affect on any market trends changes and only increase by 5 euros, but do it 3-4 times more frequently than you will do with some level pricing. And at the same time, you can customize your pricing based on your strategies, right? So if you see that your suite room needs to has a lower booking window, but let's say some repeat guests come at the last minute, you can always start straight away by increasing the suite room, right? Waiting for some business to pick up, but your popular standard room can be more flexible in regards of pricing updates and so on. So that's where actually the biggest part of increasing your revenue in the current situation starts. So that all of your rooms will be set up according to the demand, and each of the room will have uh, more sort of opportunities to affect on the current trends around your hotel. And the other big thing that we see is that right now hotels should focus more on the future data, as Vasilios already mentioned, rather on some last year data. Because in most cases, we revenue manager, at least before in most cases, we were looking towards last year data and were comparing our current trend, our current pace with the last year information. However, right now our last years don't make any sense for us because things, as we mentioned so many times, already changed so fast. So the biggest part now is to track the current situation. What is your booking pace? What is your booking pace on each room level? What is your booking pace in each of the segments? So you need to track all of this information. At the same time, looking at your competition, it's not enough just to see what is the current price of your competitor, because they can sell right now at, let's say, 150 euro. However, just 3 days ago, they were selling at 200 euro, which is a huge thing because market is decreasing now, right? So everybody is decreasing the rate, and if you start increasing the rate, looking at the 150 euros, thinking it's a good it's a good price. It's actually doesn't will not make enough sense, and you will lose potential revenue. So obviously, tracking your competitors. Not just in regard to the current pricing, but actually how the prices are shifting is a big part of success. And saying all of this, it's quite understandable that as a revenue manager working manually with your pricing, there is so many factors that needs to be taken into place. So it's becoming so hard for you to focus on them. And obviously, technology using the revenue rate shopper, market intelligence, and revenue management tools becoming sort of crucial if you want to succeed. And one of the things, for example, talking about the pace, you can see in our system. So, for example, if I'm showing you the pickup report graph, how it looks in hotellab, and here you can see that very fast you can identify, for example, where your pickup is. Where your business is picking up, but also where the cancellations are coming from. And just by clicking on it, you can quickly realize where you're losing some business in the past, let's say 30 days, in order for you to make some changes. So these sort of decisions are actually crucial now for any revenue managers if he wants to sort of uh, keep track of the current situation. So reacting fast is very, very important in this right now. And going further, um, talking about the future demand trends, actually, we already talked quite a lot about it, but as mentioned, that current trends are extremely important. Personalization of your pricing strategy is another big part because we see that each hotel at the end of the day is very unique. Even by looking at online data, right, on booking.com rates, Expedia rates, and some market trends, at the end of the day, you will still have some offline influence on your business, your repeat guests, your walk-ins in some cases, your group bookings if you're a large hotel, and so on. So obviously, combination of analyzing the current trends and putting them in place with your own strategy is a big part of success. So therefore, obviously, just focusing on the current trends in most cases will not be enough. And the other big part, as we mentioned, is obviously driving direct bookings, because at the end of the day, each business is about business, right? So your business should make money and profit for your owners. And living now in OTA industry, for us hoteliers, it's very important to understand OTAs are our partners, but still we need to always focus on some extra decisions which can bring us more direct revenue. because at the end of the day, it can if you increasing your rate, right? If you're during the high period you're selling at high ADR, each of the bookings you receive from OTA channel will cost you more because they're all commission based. And obviously, in this particular case, you need to make a smarter decision if you wanna make more profit for your hotel. And here it comes a part where it's very good to combine your marketing efforts in line with revenue management, because as a ex-hotelier myself, I always so that if it's a low season, right? So I obviously want to drive as many bookings from all channels, right? But when it's a high season, I always was curious about why I need to pay certain OTA channels that big commission if the guest actually wants to stay somewhere at a good place, right? So the guest at the high periods, understanding that around the market there is not so many offers left, or everybody's selling at a high price, is always trying to find better deal for himself. And that's a time where you need to put in place your both revenue management efforts. By revenue management efforts, I mean creating good pricing offer at your website, making sure that best of your inventory availability options are available only on your direct channels but not on the commissionable channels, and you understand the traffic at your hotel. For example, in our system, what we have done, we have implemented end-to-end analytics from Google, so you can always track your situation from the sources to your to your website, which means that you don't look anymore only on traditional segmentation, right? For example, looking at your transient guests at your website, OTAs, corporates, and so on. But actually, the part of your direct channels can also be divided into several segments, right? Are your guests coming from direct source, by meaning they know your hotel already? They coming from search engine uh, tools. Therefore, you can actually invest in your some of your ads, limit your OTA channels, and drive more direct booking. Or maybe they coming from some of your social media effort. At the same time, you need to set up particularly rates offer with your revenue manager, put it promote it on the Facebook or any other social media tool, and then this combination will help you to, at the end of the day, in the peak period, receive more direct revenue and overall better results. So obviously this thing is very, very important. And coming to the last part, so as mentioned, yeah, so integrating the data from OTA Insight, in particular our case with our RMS, plays a big role, because we as a revenue manager developers, we focus on the algorithm, right, on the accurate forecasting, on the right pricing recommendations, on good analytics, but quality of the data provided to RMS in regard to outside of external data, right? What is happening on the market is very important, because in many cases, for example, when we map our competitors' pricing with our own pricing, we need to understand that most of the competitors probably will sell cheaper on the mobile rates, right? So when we create pricing recommendation, we need to take into consideration what they offer on the official website, or what do they offer in regard to the length of stays. So there is a lot of data over there that definitely needs to be considered. And in our RMSs, we spend a lot of time when we launch a new hotel. We spend quite a lot of time integrating as much data from OTA side as possible, so that our system will understand the behavior competitors not only on their basic rate, on the bar rate or best available rate, but actually understanding the length of stay restriction, any mobile discounts, and so on, so that pricing recommendation will also take it into consideration. And the other big part, what we suggest to all hoteliers, especially 50 plus room hotels, where they focus on different distribution channels, is actually set up totally different rate codes, which comes to the OTA channels and to the official website. By doing that, they have way more flexibility in terms of their decision. One simple decision, selling the cheap at your website, right? But if you start selling cheap at your website, you need to remember that the big OTAs track your rate parity, and you can lose some ranking. So losing this ranking, you need to make sure that this losing this ranking will not affect you that bad that you lose not only bookings but actually also traffic on your website, because OTA is sometimes not just about the bookings but actually visibility and your brand awareness on the OTA channel. So here is an example of different data that needs to be taken in place. But after doing that, you can also play around with your inventory, right? But just doing closing your availability on a hotel level on OTA channel will also cost you losing the business. Then you need to be smarter in this case. You try to integrate as many rooms, as many rates as possible to your OTA channels. But by the time you see that, for example, you have only 10 standard rooms left, the traffic on your website is strong enough, and you already forecasting over 100% occupancy at your for your standard room, so it will be definitely sold. It's a good time to close only this popular room on OTA channel, sell the rest of the rooms at your official website, but still have some availability left on OTA channel. So basically, those smart decisions are the ways for you to carry on your partnership with OTA channels, but try to not to lose the business where you know that you can create this business directly. So that's a big part. And coming back to our system, I will do it very quickly. That uh, those decisions must be very fast and frequent. And in our system, you can always just quickly choose the dates you want to whether manually update, or you want to send some minimum length of stay restrictions, or you want to update and send them to your to your website or to your OTA channel. So you can always choose the channel that you want to work with. So basically, making this decision accurate and fast is the way for you to succeed and increase your revenue, and at the end of the day get the most the 100% financial performance. And yeah, so actually, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. The very important thing that we always say is that RMS right now is not here to replace the revenue manager, but actually increase the competence and help a revenue manager to perform better. Because right now we live in the world which changes so fast. Therefore, if you still going behind the current trends, right? So there is, for example, Excel within your decision, right? So you spend half an hour or hour in your Excel sheet, which means that you are losing some time to make smart decision, right? Then if you still leaving some decision to your intuition, or maybe to your general manager intuition, or so on, that's another part where you are losing business. So basically, achieving now the 100% financial performance is combination of both uh, analyzing the data, yes, making the data driven smart decision, but make the decision smart, right? So play around and understand that where you need to be a partner with your OTA channels, but where you can actually focus on increasing direct revenue, and do it frequently, as fast as frequent as possible, because at the end of the day, that's the way to uh, to succeed, because those who react fast are the ones that get the most from the pie of the demand which lies around. Yeah, here you see some of the integration. So basically, if you like to work with our system, you can see the integration we can provide. As mentioned already, we are trusted by over 150 hotels in 6 countries. We will send through this presentation, so you will see our contacts if you like to get in touch with us. And yeah, I'm always happy if you like to sign up for an audit. Me personally, I will do it for you just to see what is the potential uh, for your hotel to get more revenue from optimization of your pricing. Um, yes, I think I'm done now with the presentation. If there are any questions, please, the right time now to write them in the chat. Or we can send through our presentation afterwards. There we will have contacts of myself and Vasilios, and you can always get in touch with us if you like to have a deeper look into our solutions.
Anatoly, there seems to be no questions as of now.
Okay.
I want to
Okay.
thank you for the invitation and wish everyone good luck. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find OTA Insight tools, 3w at otainsight.com. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to share my presentation with you and with all attendees.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, we will send through the presentation and the recording of the webinar, so any of the colleagues of the current attendees can always have a look, or for those who missed it, they can also view it. And yeah, thank you very much for those who find the time. I know it's now everybody's very busy, and yeah, but us, hotellab and OTA Insight are always here for you, to help you at least save some time. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Was
Bye.
bye bye.